That was really contextual introduction, I would say. Okay. Now, throughout the session, we heard a lot about Agentic AI, and we also talked about the business case, and also somebody touched about why we're focusing on new techs, right? And there was also a lot of talk about the value realization. So today I am here to explain to you that Agentic AI being the future, the Agentic AI design is extremely important because that would enable you to realize your ROI. And new tech innovation is an integral part because if we don't do it, we don't move forward. And generative AI is one such example, right? If ChatGPT did not do the innovation, we wouldn't have been here. So with that, I would like to start my session on Model Context Protocol, which enables our agentic AI to become persistent, consistent, and personalized. And this enables to not only scale our solution, but also bring in business agility. And let me see if my control works here. Okay. As I said, with the future of AI now, it's not building anymore your AI models. Now that is everybody's doing. What is now the next revolution is how do we make this AI systems, this AI agents talk with each other? Because that would make the agentic AI solution successful. So let's move forward. Every agentic AI, as we all understand, has got an agent. The agent has got memory. It has got long-term memory and short-term memory. Then there's planning. But then the brain of it is either a LLM agent, an LLM model, or a reasoning model, or even a kind of a short or small or long, small models as well. So let me see. Okay. Now suppose in my business case, somebody asked me the question, okay, what is my P&L for March 2025? While my models, the AI models that we have, the reasoning or large language models or whatever, they are smart. They're really smart. But what they don't do is that they don't perform actions for you unless they are connected with tools, with your web APIs, and with your data sources. Because without these, it really cannot give you the output. Now to do this, for this model to connect with your tools and your data sources, there has to be a connection, an integration. Now that is known as function calling or tool usage. I'm sure pretty much everybody knows it. Now what does it consist of? It consists of that we have to define a model-specific function schema, which is a JSON description, put in the acceptable parameters. I emphasize on the word acceptable parameters, and then on the results it has to generate. It also has to include handlers or the glue code that we can say, which executes when the function gets called. Now why I'm telling you all these things? All these that we do has got development effort in it. And for each model, the protocol is slightly different. Those who work very closely with AI models will understand that, for example, in OpenAI, the parameters are named as parameters, while in Anthropic it is known as input underscore schema. Now, why I mention this? This is because if we try to develop any solution with my model connecting with my tools, I have to be careful about these parameters, which adds again to my development effort. And not only that, my agentic AI now has got multiple models. It has got, each model then again calls their own tools and other data sources. And this continues. But think about at the enterprise level, the level of complexity that we're bringing in here. Each model having their own protocol, which means there's a redundant effort. The integration effort becomes endless because with every combination of model and tool or data source, there has to be a custom integration planned. And this leads to the biggest issue, which is now impacting the ROI of agentic AI solutions, is the N into M problem. So if you see here, the N is the models, the countless models that you have to connect with to get your agentic AI really smart, and M is your other systems, which consists of your tools, of your data sources, which will then have to be connected with your model to give you the right results. This is the exponential complexity that is happening that with every combination, a custom integration has to happen. This leads to also excessive maintenance effort because these models, these APIs, these data sources will constantly evolve, and we need our business to be on cutting edge. But to maintain this version upgrades, there also has to be work on the custom integration. And so many times in practical implementation, it has been seen that because of this lack of standardization, there has been potential failures, leading to, again, an impact in the business agility. The other part that here is that every time there is a new model coming in, that integration method changes, but even if the functions are similar, the outcomes are unpredictable. So with the scaling of the solution, the entire environment becomes so fragmented that it becomes very painful to manage. It is almost like assembling your IKEA furnitures without your user manual. Now, how do we help this? How do we manage this? It is almost like what was there before HTTP had come in the web world, right? All web pages were like its own isolated islands. They were sharing information in their own way. We have reached the same inflection point for AI. And just like what HTTP did for the web, the Model Context Protocol did for the AI agents. It is like the USB-C port for AI agents. Now, what is this MCP or Model Context Protocol? This was actually introduced by Anthropic in November 2024. And it is, if I go by definition, it is simply an open protocol that actually eliminates the custom integration for every combination to a standardized way that implements a plug-and-play framework so that any AI model can connect to any tools or data source without any custom integration coming into play. Now, if we go ahead, and we talked about all the redundant development, the excessive maintenance cost, all these is now solved by one single interface. So that means if you have a service and you can wrap it into the MCP interface, any of your AI model can instantly start using it. So imagine the kind of agility and scalability you bring along with it. Now, as I said, Anthropic, when they introduced it, they found that this MCP not only helps in getting the live data and making it more contextual, it is also utilizes what was existing before. So what it means, it does not drop the function calling, because that's important. What it does, it connects the AI model with the context on building on top of the function calling, so that we don't need to repeatedly say the same thing to the model to remember. It actually remembers it, understands it, and business can just state the requirement instead of trying to give more introduction or context around it. So in short, MCP actually provides a standardized way through which the AI models can communicate. It eliminates the custom complex integrations, and it provides a universal language for the AI tools. Now, what's under the hood of it? I will quickly cover the hood part. Now, what happens here also, it follows a software engineering practice, which is the client-server integration, right? So we have a client host, which is the environment through which the user interacts with the model. It could be Anthropic desktop, it could be IDE. Then we have the MCP clients, which is basically where it formats the request for the AI. And the most important part is your MCP servers, which is your connector between your AI model and that of your external data sources. The AI actually communicates with the server either through the prompts, which is a structured template, which provides context, or resources, which are the data sources that they can actually refer to, and the tools and functions, which we already discussed. Now, this entire thing is now got really a lot of traction, and from February onwards. Why? Because this actually enables to remove all your efforts of development or of your bringing in a model, doing the evaluation, to a simple interface. You just connect to the interface and it's done. So in that case, if you see, even if it was on February that it got traction, there's a huge library in GitHub where there are pre-built MCP servers already available. And big companies or OEMs like Google, Microsoft, Anthropic, GitHub, they all have already have got pre-built MCP servers. So we just need to plug to them and start using it. There are also organizations who are early runners who have actually used like Block and Apollo for the agentic AI solutions. Now, what is in it for business? Imagine your marketing manager coming and saying, I need to develop a campaign, and I need some prototypes around it. Earlier, we had to set it to understand, to make a prompt, then give it back, and then we do it. Here, the MCP just understands it. So the user just can ask, give me this campaign. The MCP will give the samples, remembering what were the branding guidelines, as well as all the kind of tools that were used earlier. So there is a hyper-personalization that is enabled. Or in case of a sales leader who wants a report in a specific format, I think every leader do that, and it becomes a nightmare to keep remembering the format. Right now, it doesn't matter. The MCP remembers the format and remembers the frequency and go ahead. So it helps you with efficiency boosting as well as context awareness. And finally, if there's a policy update that has to be done by an HR, then it enables to remember what were the guidelines before, what was the organizational structure, so that we can control what the model should know, what they should deliver. So there's control, there's a hyper-personalization, there's context awareness, and there's efficiency boosting. What else do you think can enable to give us scalability and add to your business agility? However, as every solution, it is very early stages, and it is evolving. Though it is showing a lot of potential, but while we implement it, we should always keep in mind the security aspect of it. So go ahead and start using it, because if I have to give a key takeaways from it, this model construct protocol actually enables to give you a persistent, consistent, personalized solution for your business problems. Else, you can keep swimming into the end-to-end problem.